Okay, so far we have gone over cleaning up your model, making sure that there's no holes, making sure that we've cleaned our stage of additional objects that we're no longer using. We have gone over making sure that we have done save as is so that we have multiple documents, meaning a document that is of our final model and saving that as a Maya binary or an MB file because Maya does that by default. And then we have done a save as where we put on that, we labeled on that version 3D print prep, and we put it in drafts, draft one, draft two, depending on where we are. Okay. So we've done all that and we did our union Boolean, right? Once we did our union Boolean, or a Boolean union, which is in mesh Boolean union. We then duplicated the polygon surface that we got from that action. We duplicated it and then we deleted the actual, we deleted everything else. We kept just a duplicate. Okay. We deleted the original that came in. Okay. So here we are with this, and we're gonna want to check our face norms and we're gonna want to do a triangulate. But before we do that, we are going to duplicate this. So I'm going to go back to edit and to duplicate. The reason why I do that, and I'm going to pull out that duplicate so we can visually see it, is because I'm ultimately going to send two files to the printer. I'm going to send one file of my object that's triangulated and the other one that's not, because usually a printer prefers triangulation. But just in case that printer that we're going to work with doesn't, then we have two files just to make sure that the printing goes smoothly. So right now I have the duplicate of the same object on my stage, and I want to look at triangulating, but I also want to make sure that my face norms are pointing in the right direction. Now, you may remember what face norms are, you may not. But if you think of face norms like the skin or the surface of an object, you have to know if the surface of the object is pointing in the right direction. So, for example, if I just get a cube and put it on our stage or my stage, and I right click and select a face. And I'm going to go up to mesh display and I'm going to click on that face and click on the word reverse. So what I've done is purposely reverse the skin. And what you see is that the image or that particular face is now dark, is now black versus the other ones being gray and the same value of gray. This one is now black. Even when I turn it, we see that it's still black. I want to give you an example on this robot here where we see that this face here looks black, but when we rotate it, we see that it is in fact gray, that it was just a lighting, right? So when we turn it, it looks gray. This one on this object is black. And when we turn it, it still looks black. Okay, so we know it's not the lighting that's causing it. It's being caused by a surface that is flipped inside out. And that's what face norms tell us. Face norms tell us, are our faces pointing in the right direction? So for example, if I stay on this object, this cube, and I go to display, and I go down to polygons, and I go to face norms. So I'm holding it here so that you can see this. And I click on it. I can see um, I can see one of my face norms. Okay. And actually, let me click over here, I can see my face norms because my mouse was in the way. And see how the face norm is green and it's pointing up? That tells me, and pointing up and out, I should say, that tells me that my face norms are pointing in the right direction. See how that one is facing down? That's good because it's facing out of the surface. But I can see this face and I don't see the face norm pointing out. In fact, if I go in, and I'm not sure if I can, yeah, if I go in, we might even be able to see how that face norm is pointing inward. Okay, and I can put this on wireframe so that you can see it. So I hit the 4 on my keyboard to show wireframe. See how I can see the face norm, but it's pointing inward. It's pointing inward because it is not, because the face is not pointing in the right direction. So I hit the number 5 on my keyboard so I can see the shading again. So to fix that, I have to go into face and select it. I selected that face and go back to mesh display to reverse that and see how that face, that norm just pops right out for me, because now it's saying, yes, I'm in the right direction and I'm no longer black. And that is the way that we need to do. So I'm going to right click over that object, go into object mode and hit delete because I don't need that object. But I'm going to now click on one of my robots, and I'm going to go to display again and go to polygon and go to face norms. And now I want to make sure, are my norms all pointing out? And thankfully they are. They're all pointing outward. So that tells me this is good. Okay. I would do the same thing for the other one over here. Now, once I'm ready to not see these norms anymore, I'm going to go back to display while the object is selected. I'm going to go back to display and go to polygons and then go back to face norms and hide them. Okay, that way I don't have to see them and they're not distracting. Now, again, you're going to click on the next one and do the same exact thing. Okay, now, once I've checked the face norms, as I said, one of these models I'm going to triangulate. So to triangulate it, I just have to select it and then go to mesh and go to triangulate. Okay, so then Maya will put the triangulation on it. See how this one doesn't have the same mesh now, it's slightly changed. Some printers, as I've said, prefer this triangulation. Some printers don't, so that's why we have both. Now, because I altered the mesh, I do need to check the face norms again. So I'm going to make sure I'm in object mode and that I've selected the object again, and I'm going to go and check my face norms. Now, one of the things that you could see as you're moving this around, because you really want to look to say, do I have anything black? It sort of looks a little black, but when I move it, oh, it's just the light, versus when I do it, do I really see it? Okay. So now that I've done that, I am going to go ahead and still go into display polygons, and I'm still going to go to face norms so that I can make sure nothing was turned inside out. Everything is pointing in the right direction. All my beautiful norms are pointing outward, which is what I want. Okay. And so I'm going to go back to display polygons and then click on face norms again to make that disappear. So now I have a model that is triangulated and one that is not. I've checked the face norms for both. And now I'm ready to begin my measuring process, because I have to measure these to make sure I know the sizes. Okay, so that's the next video I will do. See you there.